AI side of the equation. If we can start to share unprocessed sensor data with all of our friends and allies, not just exclusive groups, but all of our friends and allies, then we bring to the table the one thing that our adversaries can't: diversity and scale. Okay, it's one thing to be able to say to your country, we're going to do X, and everybody has to get in line and do it. But I love going against an adversary that only has one plan and one capability. Okay, our diversity is our strength. Our allies are that diversity, both intellectually and in capability. And we've got to take advantage of that and capitalize on it. And so to me, that's one area where they're going to be incredibly powerful. If I were looking at options for a problem, I'd rather look at it like I would see hurricane tracking, where I've got the European model, I've got the US model, I've got the Pacific model, and I'm putting them all side by side, and where do they converge and where do they separate? Where are the outliers? What risk am I willing to take? I don't want one answer. And so the allies are the key to that.
Ultimate goal for Russia, if you want to call it like endgame, boy, I don't know. Hopefully there will be end of the game, not the end game, right? I really hope so. But it's difficult to, Putin is always open about his intentions, but he never kind of open about his immediate plans. Mm-hmm. So that's why when I saw this, build-ups of troops on the Ukrainian border, it is, for me, it was like I felt like this is a tension that most likely will not resolve in anything, because that's not how Putin plays, from my point of view, right? So I think his end game in Ukraine remains the same. He wants to either destabilize it, keep it as a chaos, or actually to gain some a tangible and a large gain in the country. And that could be, it cannot be, for example, like increasing the control territory by Russia territory, like increasing twice, right? For example, increasing this DNR, LNR, getting this, enlarging them in 2 times. No, that will be too little for him. He will get a lot of negative reaction, but nothing to be offered to the Russians. He might have, for example, all left bank. This is something more tangible for him. I don't think he's currently in a position to achieve this. So either destabilization or getting a large part of the territory, that would be his end game from my point of view.
Political actors in Venezuela, despite different views on tactics, despite their different conditions they find themselves facing in different parts of the country, despite the pressures that Mr. Maduro and his supporters place upon them, have made commitments to expand the coalition in opposition to Mr. Maduro, and to call in new voices from what had perhaps been political peripheries. And that is admirable. That is really the foundation of the unitary platform. That is why we've seen a mix of experienced hands and of new voices coming into politics and to across the country and into civic activism. Mr. Maduro and those who support him inside Venezuela and beyond have done what they can to extinguish Venezuelan democracy. But they're not going to succeed, because Venezuelans know what they've lost, and we've seen their determination to recover it.